So here are the only steps you need to follow if you are trying to get a loan, but you have no job, especially if you're looking for a massive loan. Step number one, I want you to document your income. See, the whole thing is that the lender wants to make sure that you are able to properly account for your income. So when we talk about income, you don't have a job, okay, not a problem, but you are probably deriving revenue from some sources. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here on earth, right? You must be making money elsewhere to be able to sustain your lifestyle. So you want to actually document your income. So any income you receive could help you qualify for an unsecured loan. So you'll have to provide documentation such as a recent statement, and lenders may consider child support, alimony, a pension or annuity, disability, social security, dividends, interest, required minimum distributions from your retirement accounts, spouse's income. See, the whole thing here is that when we talk about not having a job doesn't mean you don't have income. You don't have to have a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 9 or 12 to 12, whatever it is, to actually derive income. And if you want the income to qualify you for a loan, just make sure that the income is legit. Okay, not trying to have some kind of fishy business or whatever. No. Okay, so the first step is to document your income. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to take a piece of paper and write down all your sources of income. I mean, do you have a side gig? Do you drive for Uber? Are you tutoring someone? Do you have some kind of online store? Whatever it is. So I want you to put down on a piece of paper all your sources of income, or if you are familiar with Excel, just use Excel. The whole thing is you want to account for all those sources of income and come with a monthly number. See, that monthly number will determine the starting point for the amount of loan you could qualify for, because see, the lender is not interested in your employment status. They are interested in your cash position. They are interested in your liquidity status. This is really important, because if they lend you, let's say they lend you a $10,000, how are you going to repay the loan? That's why the lender cares more about your liquidity situation than your employment situation. Okay, so being able to document some kind of income could mean the difference between getting an unsecured versus a secure loan, especially if you don't have a job. So the first thing you want to do if you need a loan but you have no job is to document all sources of income that you have. Very important. Step number two. The second thing you need to do is to document your assets. By the way, welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate having you here. We're having a short conversation about things you need to do if you want a loan but you have no job. So the first step, I spoke to you about documenting your income, right? So now you got to document your assets. Remember, there is a clear distinction between your income and your assets. So income is the kind of revenue you derive every month, every week, every day, every year, whatever. Assets are things that you own. Assets constitute property you currently own. I'm not talking about your house. Your house is owned by the bank until you pay off the mortgage. Your car, if the car has a loan on it, that car doesn't belong to you. It is the lender's car until you actually repay whatever loan you have on the car. So what I'm talking about you documenting the same exercise you went through when it comes to your income. I want you to do right now. I want you to do the same thing right now when it comes to your assets. So if you don't have enough income to qualify for the loan, you might be able to qualify for a secured or unsecured loan, for that matter, based on your assets instead. And I'm not asking you to document your assets so that you can collateralize the loan. So in other words, you can pledge the assets as a collateral. No. The thing is, sometimes lenders are comfortable knowing that you have something. See, the thing is, you have to have some skin in the game. You can't just ask the lender to give you $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 if you have no skin in the game. Boss, talk to me about that. Okay, so what are your assets, boss? So when we talk about assets, and don't confuse assets with liabilities, right? Assets are what you own. Liabilities are what you owe. So examples of assets might be a bank account or a certificate of deposit, a CD. It can be a car, motorcycle, or RV. This has to be fully paid though. It can be a boat. It can be a retirement account. It can be a series of stocks or bonds. It can be jewelry. Yeah. If you have some kind of valuables in your closet, this will qualify too. Okay. Artwork also can count as a collateral as the assets, collector's item. So the thing is that you have to think about what could actually tell the lender that, hey, listen, you are I would say a credit worthy borrower. And don't forget, we're not even speaking about your FICO score yet. Because right now, when you are trying to apply for a loan, but you have no job, it's important for you to actually show the lender that you have liquidity. Very important. Liquidity really is important. The third thing I want you to do right now, so the first thing you have to document your income, right? Second thing, you want to document your assets. Okay. Third thing you need to do, you need to approach the right lenders. This is so quite essential. A lot of people make the mistake of applying for a loan at the wrong lending institution, quote unquote, the wrong. Wrong means that this institution is not suitable for you based on your situation. Some institutions, it's just like everything in life, right? I mean, you met a man, you met a woman, whatever, things, people click, there's chemistry. Same thing happens in the credit industry. Sometimes you kind of click, quote unquote, click with the bank. Sometimes you don't. And don't try to force things. Okay? Your job is to explore the landscape of lenders. And when I'm talking about lenders, I'm talking about online lenders, alternative lenders, credit unions, regular banks. And by regular banks, I'm including big national banks, but also community banks, rural banks, regional banks. So you have to actually browse the whole landscape of banks and credit unions and all those other lending institutions to see which one really fits you. This is really important because the last thing you want is to actually try to pair up with an institution that doesn't want your ass in the first place. And this is why a lot of folks, they are just like very pissed because their application, the loan application, got denied, and they're like, how come I've been trying and my application always gets denied? It's because you are trying to pair up with the wrong institution. Again, I'm using the word wrong here I'm in brackets, in quotes, right? Wrong just means it's not the right one for you. By the way, I just want to remind everybody of today's topic. We are having a conversation about things you need to do if you need 3 things that you got to do if you need a loan right now, but you have no job. Okay, so first thing, you want to document your income. Second thing, you want to document your assets. Third thing, you want to approach the right lenders. So the first thing you want to do, you want to check with your bank, the bank where you are currently at, that bank. I want you to walk right now, go to the branch and talk to a manager there. Or this could be a credit union also, okay? And because you want to start where they already know you. And please, when you go to a branch, and I've given this piece of advice before, when you go to a branch, please be presentable. I want you to be on your Sunday or Saturday. I want you to be really, really well maintained, and speak to people politely, and just kind of make your case. You would like to have a loan, but you have no job, but you have income. Okay. Besides banks and credit unions, you can also check online lenders. And it's very important. I need to mention here one thing. Please avoid predatory loans. Okay, you have a lot of those payday loans. They charge like kind of crazy high APRs. You don't want that. We have covered this topic in the past, and we have warned viewers against the fact that you don't want to actually, unless you really, really need them, don't go for payday loans at all. And one thing I want you to really think about also is that when we talk about approaching the right lender, sometimes you can approach a lender. They might say, listen, we would love to lend to you because we think that you have sort of the right application, the right profile, but we would love to have some kind of guarantee. But if you can't provide a personal guarantee, I mean, you provide a personal guarantee anyway, because on personal loans, your personal guarantee is implied. But sometimes they will want you to have a co-signer. So, hey, listen, look around in your private circle, your dad, your mom, your sister, your spouse, and whatnot, and ask them if anybody will be able to co-sign a loan with you. Because sometimes you need help. If you need help, ask for help. Okay. If you get a co-signer for a loan, that person, remember though, that person assumes responsibility for repayment if you fail to pay. Let me repeat that because this is important. So if anybody comes to you and says, I want you to be a co-signer on my loan, please make sure that you understand the fact that you assume responsibility for repayment if the primary borrower fails to pay. And during the approval process, the lender bases his or her decision on the co-signer's credit and income. So basically, if you have a co-signer, what will happen here is that the lender will actually determine the final underwriting decision based on the credit scores and the income of both borrowers. You can also try to borrow from a friend or relative. I mean, if you need a loan but have no job and no bank wants to approve you, or no credit union wants to approve you, look around in your entourage and see if somebody will be able to lend to you directly, a friend, a relative, and whatnot. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Where are you going to? What kind of lender works best for you? Do you think? I mean, based on your situation, would you rather go to a credit union? Would you rather go to a bank? Would you rather go to an online lender such as Payoff or such as you have a lot of them? So which one works for you? Okay, think about that. And do you have a co-signer you can rely on if push comes to shove? Like if the lender wants you to actually buttress your loan application, sort of buttress it, would you be able to find someone in your entourage who'll be able to help? One thing I also want to say here is that, and we are still in the bonus category here, and I just want to quickly remind you that I'm still having a conversation with you about things that you need to do if you need a loan but have no job. 3 things. So document your income, document your assets, and approach the right lenders. But the thing is, when we talk about, in your quest to get a loan that you need, I mean, who knows what you need a loan for? Things happen, life happens. You might need the loan for an emergency. Who knows? Maybe your child is sick, or you need to pay the bills. I mean, you're behind on bills. A lot of things can happen. If you have a retirement account, consider borrowing from your retirement account. This is totally possible and totally legal too. Okay. Now, there are some technicalities that I need to explain to you. You need to understand that you can take out of your retirement fund early. You can take money out of that retirement fund early. But the thing is that you will have to pay it back within 5 years, or you will owe a penalty. So 5 years is the cutoff time. So when you take out, let's say you take out a loan from a retirement fund, just make sure that you have that 60-month deadline. You will also pay interest on this loan, but the interest goes into your retirement account to help make up for the time the money was not being invested. So even if you can pay the loan back within 5 years, this option is still not a great idea because it causes you to pay extra out of your own pocket instead of having your investments naturally increase in value. So this is one of those options that I would actually caution you against. But if push comes to shove, if you have no other options, I would say just go ahead with it. Okay. If you need the cash, you need the cash. You got to take care of business. You got to take care of business. It is what it is. And as you're trying to get the cash that you need, please make sure that you lower your debt to income ratio. You can do that before applying for a loan because this will help you a lot. It's because the less debt you have relative to your total income, what will happen here is that the less risky you will appear as a borrower to a lender, even if your income does not come from a job. So your debt to income ratio is really important. So if possible, you want to focus on paying down any existing debts or increasing your income before applying for a loan. So money, 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 boss. Money, money, money. What is your situation right now? What is your cash situation? What is your debt situation? What is your debt to income ratio? Is it high? The thing is, when it comes to your DTI, your debt to income ratio, you want to target 30% or less. If you have to go up, let's say 35% or less. Anything above that, you are in dangerous territory. You can also try to get a cash advance. I'm just kind of giving you a few options. Okay, if you apply for a loan and they just deny your application. There are a few other options that there are things you can explore. So borrow from a retirement account, lowering your debt to income ratio, also trying to get a cash advance. Now, what is a cash advance? Now, a cash advance is it's a little dangerous too because the fees are kind of high. But listen, again, we are speaking here in terms of emergency. If you have to, you have to. So if you have a credit card, you can use it to withdraw money from an ATM up to a limit listed on your monthly statement. Okay, so it's really important, but cash advances do not fall under your credit card's grace period, so interest starts accruing right away. Let me repeat that. Interest, when you actually get cash from your credit card, interest starts accruing right away. And the average cash advance APR is over 21%. So you are really in dangerous territory. So credit cards. Boss, do you have credit cards right now? If you do you have some kind of margin? In other words, do you have a decent limit on the card? If you do, would it make sense for you to actually withdraw money from the card instead of applying for a loan? Because if you've been looking for a loan and you can't get a loan, and you definitely don't want to go with a payday loan. I mean, they charge you crazy ass high APRs, like 70% or 80% or 100%, even triple digits. It just might make sense to actually get the 21% or 25% that you get on the card anyway. This could be a better option. It's up to you. You got to see what really works for you because every situation is different. Everybody's situation is totally idiosyncratic. So you got to think about that. Okay, now you have to understand that sometimes it can be dangerous to get a loan with no job because if your alternative source of income dries up, you risk missing payments and therefore damaging your credit. In addition, you might not be able to get good interest rates, a long repayment period, or low fees. So those are things I want you to think about. But again, as long as you have a constellation of income sources, even if you don't have a job, you should be good to go because as I said at the beginning of this show, the lender really cares about your liquidity situation. They care about your cash situation as opposed to your employment situation. Let me give you a few pro tips before I close today's conversation here. So the thing here is that when you are trying to get a loan but you have no job, there are a few things you should be working on simultaneously. For example, you need to increase your credit score. This is important because regardless of your employment situation, regardless of your cash situation, a high credit score always wins. A high credit score always gives you the possibility to get a loan at very favorable terms. Okay, so the higher your credit score, the more likely you are to be approved for a loan, no matter the amount you're applying for. I mean, I know you know this already. And the thing here is that if you have a good credit score, this can help offset not having a job as long as you do have some form of income. And the good news is that there are several easy steps you can take today. I mean, I'm not talking about tomorrow or yesterday or whatever. You can take those steps today to improve your credit score. Okay, so you can actually always make sure that you repay whatever balance, whatever loans and lines of credit and credit cards you currently have. So payment history is quintessential. Payment history accounts for 35% of your FICO score. So you don't want to play with that. You don't want to mess up your payment history. I want you to have I want you to have a clean payment history. I don't care what happened. Don't start giving me excuses. Yeah, I missed this payments. I'm probably gonna catch up next month. No, don't play that game. Don't play that game, boss. Okay. So payment history 35%. Then we have another element. We have your credit utilization ratio, which accounts for 30%. Okay. So those two already are like 2/3. So this is really important. And I want to close to this conversation by giving you a few tips on what to do if you're not approved. So if you're not approved, you can try lowering your loan amount or talking to the lender to find out how you might be able to qualify, and be able to be careful, really careful about applying with several lenders because each application has the potential to damage your credit score, right? Because if those lenders are checking your credit history, then you have a bunch of hard inquiries on your credit. You don't want that. And if you don't have income or assets, you will have a hard time getting a personal loan. In that case, you will need to reevaluate your needs and consider other strategies. Okay, besides asking a family member or friend for a loan, you can also ask someone to be your co-signer. I've said this before, okay, because this is important. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about 3 things you need to do right now if you need a loan but you have no job. First thing, document your income. Second thing, I want you to document your assets. Third thing, I want you to approach the right lenders. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. God bless you. Thank you.